Ryan Bliss gets the call up, and he's now on the roster, replacing Jorge Polanco, who goes to the 10-day injured list with hamstring tightness. Are we surprised that it's Ryan Bliss taking this roster spot?
I'm not that surprised. I think there were some people that thought it was going to be Urias that just came back up, but I honestly didn't think it was a slam dunk to be Urias. I thought there was a chance, but Bliss has been hitting. He's got about 110 games under his belt now in AAA for his career. He'd started to really hit, especially over the last month. Justin Hollander talked about it on Monday, how his approach has gotten better. He's walked more, strikeouts have come down, and you've seen some power. So would my first guess have been they just bring Urias back? Sure. Am I shocked Bliss got the call up? Not really. And I'm excited for him too.
I think at first my thought was Urias, but the more I look into this, the more it actually makes sense about Ryan Bliss. So let's just paint the picture of his last month. He's reached base over 40% of the time in AAA the last month. He's got a 412 on base, slugging nearly 500 with a 127 WRC plus in AAA. Good, not unbelievable, but still pretty darn good for Ryan Bliss in AAA as just a 24-year-old. So, okay, that's good. Walking and striking out equal amounts over that stretch, 16.7% of the time, both for walks and for strikeouts. So that, that's just the bat profile. And then I'm sitting here thinking as well. So Justin Hollander was also very complimentary of Ryan Bliss's defense. Okay, good. Urias has been playing good defense this season, but you have Demo, you have Rojas, and you have Ryan Bliss now in the infield. And if you think all the three of them can play solid defense combined between third and second, okay, that works out. And then you have the base running factor too. Ryan Bliss in AAA so far has stolen 28 of 34 bags this year. 28 of 34. And if we combine that with Luis Urias, he has been a subpar base runner, 18th percentile in sprint speed this year. Doesn't qualify when it comes to base running run value, but if he did qualify, it wouldn't be very good. It kind of makes more sense once you run down the list of things that are importance. He makes the team more athletic. I think they feel at this point offers them a little bit more with the bat. Urias must really need those at-bats in AAA. He was not hitting well up here at the big league level, especially with that inconsistent playing time. And they might just think that he doesn't just need at-bats, he needs AAA at-bats. He needs to refine his approach. He needs to find some more consistency at the plate. And I would say eventually, yeah, he'll probably be back on this big league roster because they traded for him to be a big leaguer, and he's making big league money. But for now, let's see what Ryan Bliss has.
Yeah, I think they're going to let Urias get some real at-bats in AAA and then evaluate moving forward. But in terms of Bliss, for everything you outlined, it does make a lot of sense. And also, put it in this perspective too. Jorge Polanco is going to be out for what they feel like is a pretty short amount of time. Hollander said he wasn't going to put an exact timeline on it, but he said whether it's the minimum 10 days, whether it's 2 weeks, they're going to get an official MRI on Tuesday and then evaluate. But the point being, they're not overly concerned about Polanco's injury. They don't think it's a long-term thing. They just want to make sure they now get this right and make sure the hamstring is healthy rather than just taking it day by day and putting Polanco as day-to-day, trying to just work through it with every passing day with him on the active roster. So with that, this could give them a pretty good idea of where Ryan Bliss is at. If for the next 2 weeks he's up here and he looks totally overmatched, he doesn't look like he's putting together competitive big league at-bats, then he's 24 years old. You send him back to AAA, he gets a little bit more developmental time under his belt. That's fine. But again, after 110 games, I think it makes sense to want to see where he's at and give him a shot at the big league level. Now, on the flip side of that, if in the next 2 weeks, Ryan Bliss shows that he's ready for the big leagues and he's really providing a spark in the offense and he's putting up quality at bats and he's playing good defense and he's stealing some bases, then maybe he just sticks. Maybe he's here a while. Maybe this is the call-up that keeps him around long term. But point being, with Polanco out for the next 2 weeks, I think they'll have a pretty decent idea in that amount of time, assuming Bliss isn't just playing once a week, where he's at as a big leaguer. If they get enough at bats under his belt in the next 2 weeks, I think they'll have a pretty good idea for what to measure him off of.
As of recording here on Monday, I liked his at bats tonight. Did not look overmatched against a very good starter in Framber Valdez tonight. I thought he put the bat head on the ball very nicely there at second base. So yeah,
Andrew
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense of what they're doing with this. And I would say there's only really upside to go from here for the Mariners, because they feel like Urias needs time in AAA, and that replacement means Ryan Bliss is getting time. I was kind of skeptical, I'm going to be honest, at first, because if you look at AAA, him and Jonathan Clase's numbers are very similar in AAA. Clase, if you look at him at the plate right now, a little overmatched, little like not really adding much offensively for the Mariners, batting there down there in the 9-hole like he was tonight. But Clase's gotten more of those at bats in the big leagues, and we've come to realize that. Haven't seen that with Ryan Bliss yet. I'm excited for him. I mean, this dude's mashed in the minors, mashed in AA when the Mariners acquired him last year, taken a little bit of time to get his footing in AAA. If you just look at the broad stroke of the year, you might not think he's ready. And that's fine, because I know he got off to a slow start this year before picking it up in May. But we'll have to see. He doesn't need to be great for the rest of the year. He just needs to be great until Jorge Polanco's healthy, at the minimum. That's it. He needs to have a good 2 weeks. Polanco comes back, and then Jorge Polanco picks it up and starts hitting again, while Ryan Bliss probably finishes off whatever he needs to down in Tacoma before they ultimately want him to stick on the big league roster for the rest of his time.
Or if he's just that good in these 2 weeks, he'll stick around. If he's providing that much value to the team, they'll make room for him. What that looks like, we'll know in 2 weeks. But he's got a real chance here to make his mark. How would
you shuffle that?
I think we'll have a better idea 2 weeks from now. Because, again, we have to see what Bliss is playing like. If he's really lighting it up, I think we'll have to think of some options. But
let's say, just off the top of my head, unless you are like the left side / up the middle infielders right now, you have Demo, you have JP, you have Rojas, and you have Bliss.
Well, here you go. If Bliss is really hitting for the next 2 weeks and Polanco comes back, you send Clase back down. Demo plays more outfield than infield. Bliss stays in the infield.
Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah. So Bliss has a chance to make his mark and stay. And also, if you want to get away from the numbers for a second, I'm not sure there is a more awesome dude in this organization than Ryan Bliss. And that's saying a lot, because there's so many awesome guys on this team, and we could rattle off so many of them, and so many of them that we've talked to. But this guy has to be one of, I don't even mean just baseball players, just genuine people you will talk to. It's really, really cool. So I'm rooting my tail off for Ryan Bliss to make this thing happen and stick in the big leagues, because he's so easy to root for, and he's such an awesome dude.
Yeah, really nice guy running into him down at spring training too. I will say on your roster thought, I would rather him be playing if he's up here at the big league level, because as with a lot of these guys, doesn't do them a whole lot of good to sit on the bench. So we'll see. When 2 weeks comes around, that'll be a better measure of that. But when Jorge Polanco comes back, he'll be back on the big league roster. That's guaranteed. Mm-hmm. So what else shuffles around by then, we're just going to have to wait and see.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. But again, really excited for Ryan Bliss. Really easy guy to root for. I'm sure in the next couple weeks, as you guys get to see more of him, you'll understand and get to see him kind of more in the media a bit. And just, I mean, you've probably seen him a bit, but yeah, he's just awesome. I hope his personality gets to shine here in the next few weeks, because it's a very, very easy personality to become a fan of. So
look, think of the type of person he is. So we ask him when we're down there at spring training. If you follow our Instagram account, you've probably seen it. But I asked him, an Auburn Tiger, what he thinks overrated or underrated Alabama football. And this man still says, out of the nicest of his heart, that he has the utmost respect for the University of Alabama football team. And, you know, that clip got a few handfuls of thousands of views on his part. And like, an Auburn Tiger saying that, what? But it's like, that's just who Ryan Bliss is, as like a short and small example. But despite how nice he is, he can come around to realize that Babe Ruth might not be all that he was hyped up to be.
That's true. He did say that. It was funny when you asked him the Bama football question. You gave him the question, and he goes, "Ha." He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to give an answer to this." So he's very genuine. He's a very, very easy personality to be a fan of. So I hope you guys get to see a bunch of that in the next couple weeks, because he's awesome. Genuinely, he is awesome.